Selfishness is not living as one wishes to live, it is asking others to live as one wishes to live. To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. Always forgive your enemies, nothing annoys them so much. Education is an admirable thing, but it is well to remember from time to time that nothing that is worth knowing can be taught. Experience is one thing you can't get for nothing. You don't love someone for their looks, or their clothes, or for their fancy car, but because they sing a song only you can hear. It is absurd to divide people into good and bad. People are either charming or tedious. Be yourself, everyone else is already taken. The only thing to do with good advice is to pass it on. It is never of any use to oneself. How can a woman be expected to be happy with a man who insists on treating her as if she were a perfectly normal human being? You can never be overdressed or overeducated. Live the wonderful life that is in you. Let nothing be lost upon you. Be always searching for new sensations. Be afraid of nothing. Nowadays people know the price of everything and the value of nothing. It is better to have a permanent income than to be fascinating. There is only one thing in the world worse than being talked about, and that is not being talked about. No great artist ever sees things as they really are. If he did, he would cease to be an artist. Ordinary riches can be stolen, real riches cannot. In your soul are infinitely precious things that cannot be taken from you. Life is not complex. We are complex. Life is simple, and the simple thing is the right thing. The old believe everything, the middle-aged suspect everything, the young know everything. To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist, that is all. Nothing can cure the soul but the senses, just as nothing can cure the senses but the soul. Never love anyone who treats you like you're ordinary. One of the many lessons that one learns in prison is that things are what they are and will be what they will be. The truth is rarely pure and never simple. I choose my friends for their good looks, my acquaintances for their good characters, and my enemies for their intellects. A man cannot be too careful in the choice of his enemies. If one cannot enjoy reading a book over and over again, there is no use in reading it at all. A thing is not necessarily true because a man dies for it. An idea that is not dangerous is unworthy of being called an idea at all. Every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future. A dreamer is one who can only find his way by moonlight, and his punishment is that he sees the dawn before the rest of the world. Crying is for plain women. Pretty women go shopping. I never travel without my diary. One should always have something sensational to read in the train. We are all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars. Most people are other people. Their thoughts are someone else's opinions, their lives a mimicry, their passions a quotation. A good friend will always stab you in the front. Beauty is the only thing that time cannot harm. Philosophies fall away like sand, creeds follow one another. But what is beautiful is a joy for all seasons, a possession for all eternity. It is what you read when you don't have to that determines what you will be when you can't help it. No woman should ever be quite accurate about her age. It looks so calculating. With freedom, flowers, books, and the moon, who could not be perfectly happy? The aim of life is self-development. To realize one's nature perfectly, that is what each of us is here for. Anyone who lives within their means suffer from a lack of imagination. The mystery of love is greater than the mystery of death. The nicest feeling in the world is to do a good deed anonymously and have somebody find out. Anybody can sympathize with the sufferings of a friend, but it requires a very fine nature to sympathize with a friend's success. Women are meant to be loved, not to be understood. I don't like compliments, and I don't see why a man should think he is pleasing a woman enormously when he says to her a whole heap of things that he doesn't mean. Morality is simply the attitude we adopt towards people we personally dislike. We live in an age when unnecessary things are our only necessities. The reason we all like to think so well of others is that we are all afraid for ourselves. The basis of optimism is sheer terror. I don't want to be at the mercy of my emotions. I want to use them, to enjoy them, and to dominate them. I'm a man of simple tastes. I'm always satisfied with the best. I can now recreate life in a way that was hidden from me before. A dream of form and days of thought. Life cannot be written, life can only be lived. Life is too short to be taken seriously. Life is far too important a thing ever to talk seriously about. Keep love in your heart. A life without it is like a sunless garden when the flowers are dead. The consciousness of loving and being loved brings a warmth and a richness to life that nothing else can bring. Life is never fair, and perhaps it is a good thing for most of us that it is not. It takes great courage to see the world in all its tainted glory, and still to love it. And even more courage to see it in the one you love. There is always something ridiculous about the emotions of people whom one has ceased to love.